All right, welcome back to Currency 365. Welcome to World News Episode 4. All right, let me quickly jump in here because I remember BGD and on his last call made statements about what's this guy's name? Madhat Al Mahmoud, and he was saying that how he was politicking. Okay, Sunnis and Shiites, and maybe even Kurds to endorse him to keep him in the seat. Remember, this is the same guy who's the head of the judicial courts. Okay, that we need out of there because he's corrupted. Okay, now he was politicking to keep his seat, even though he resigned. Okay, this guy put his resignation in and told the Iraqi people he was resigning, and told Iraq and the world he was resigning. And then he goes behind everybody's back and says, "I ain't resigning. I ain't doing it." You know what I'm saying? So he backtracks on his resignation. Okay, he's corrupted. Okay, so he needs to go. If he needs to go by force, then he needs to go by force. Remember that the Iraqi people were demonstrating on Monday, okay, at the courthouse against him. So he's gonna go either way. But tweet came out, and BGG put the tweet up about I think it's Ahmad Ali saying that this is interesting. After the PMU's, I guess they had some type of meeting. Iraq's embattled chief judge received endorsement from major Iraqi Sunni blocs. Now, why would Sunnis be backing up a corrupt Shiite? Well, maybe because they've been paid. Okay, they were paid. They're corrupt too, and I guess maybe Mahmoud is probably telling them, if you don't endorse me, I'm going to bring you all down with me. So it's one big corruption that's going on, and a body needs to put the federal court law in place. Okay, this law has to get passed so these people can go down. Now, another thing that was interesting that BGG did say was that maybe these Sunni people are just endorsing him to make it look like they're on both sides, while knowing that when the federal court law comes into play, this chief judge is going to be gone. So right now they're just playing favoritism. They're making it seem like they're on both sides of the fence, and they endorsing him. And then when the federal court law passes, okay, then he goes down. Okay, so and they don't have to deal with him. So maybe that could be the case too. We don't know, but we know a lot of these Sunnis have been bought out by Maliki and his people, and this is why we have seen so much corruption in Iraq. Okay, and it's taking so long to get rid of this corruption. So it is what it is, and we're getting to it. And they need to get these laws. They need to get the federal court law and the National Guard law in place. I think that will help, and also, of course, the money laundering. Those are three big ones that will definitely remove a lot of these people out of their seats. Okay, because now they're going to be dealing with the actual laws that are in place. See, right now, you can do a lot of things because these laws are not in place. But once these laws are in place, you can't do anything. That's why they're fighting these laws. Because once these laws are in place, now they're accountable for everything they've done. Okay, so let's see. And for a judge to be begging for endorsements, that's how corrupt you are. Okay, if you ain't done nothing wrong, and first of all, if you ain't done nothing wrong, you wouldn't have put in your resignation and told people you were leaving. Okay, now and secondly, if you ain't done nothing wrong, why are you begging for endorsements from Sunnis? Okay, so that tells you right there he's corrupt, and he has to go in these reforms, and we'll probably wait for the federal court law and the National Guard and the anti-money laundering to get him out of there. Okay, so let's move on here. A cool article from J.C. Collins came out. Well, not really cool because it's the U.S. dollar will devalue by 20% to 30%. It's not really a cool article because we do live in America. Most of us that are listening, and would never want to see our any currencies that we in our countries that we live in devalue by 20-30%. Okay. I'm just going to read a little bit of it here. Okay. Let's start. It says, "I'm just going to come right out and state with absolute clarity: gold will continue to depreciate." Yes, and I was saying that the other day, yesterday, because I think the whole markets are deflating, and this will bring about the emerging markets. This will actually force the emerging markets to do something with their currencies and with their markets and launch their markets into global markets to save themselves. So that's what it looks like we're seeing, and they're forcing the emerging markets to stop being babies and to grow themselves up. Okay, so that's cool because a lot of us are invested in the emerging markets. Okay, so let's continue to read here. It says, not only that, but the Fed will continue with the plan. What is it saying here? This word is not even spelled right. Okay. Okay. Let's just skip that word. Interest rate increases, which are set to begin at any time now. Okay. The normalization of monetary policies is considered possible by many analysts and economic commentators. Okay. This is mainly because the larger play being the transformation of the monetary framework is not fully understood. Okay, let me see. Let's go on here and see what he says. Uh, the incorrect assumption is that the U.S. dollar will be replaced as an international reserve currency by the Chinese yuan, which in turn will cause the USD denominated asset treasuries in the foreign exchange reserves accounts around the world to be dumped, leading to a flood of dollars coming back to American shore and causing the ever threatened and often predictable hyperinflation. It is concluded that this hyperinflation will see a mad rush into gold and silver, leading to upward valuation in multiples of thousands. With so many other alternative developing, explained below, does this seem like a realistic scenario? The vitality surrounding everything from commodity prices, exchange rates, sovereign debt, and equity markets are jumbled together in passionate conclusions of doom and gloom. We all know about doom and gloom. I think we're all tired about it. I think most of us are tired about doom and gloom, okay? Yes, we have to talk about it at times here and there, but I think a lot of us are just tired of doom and gloom. Okay, we are told by many that the only viable means of protecting ourselves is to purchase more and more gold, which continues to decrease in value more and more. Common sense would strongly suggest that there are multiple paths forward from the point where we currently are located. Though gold has its own unique and valuable qualities and should be held in any strategic diversity portfolio, going all in on one investment path is both harmful and irresponsible by those who promote such goofiness. Wow, good words there. Okay, so really the end result here is that he's just talking about the USD and how it's going to be devaluing. Everybody has their own ways of why the dollar is going to be devaluing. It's too high, or they've pumped it up too much, or China's going to be taking shares, or whatever the case may be. It is what it is. I think everybody knows that the dollar is going to be going down. Is it going to be happening here in September, October, November, December, January 1st? We don't know for sure, but something's going to happen. where the dollar is going to lose 20 to 30%. I think we all been saying this. Everybody's been saying it. Even people that like the dollar are saying the same thing. So it's something that we all know, something that we prepared, and I'm pretty sure Iraq has prepared because a body came out this year already and said the dollar was definitely a bubble, and the bubble was going to burst, and we need to make sure that we are good to go before that bubble bursts. Okay, so our body knows the time frame of when the dollar bubble is going to burst, and he needs to make sure Iraq is in perfect position to sustain that bubble burst, and this is why he's doing these reforms now, because it's now or never for him. And as he knows, we're getting closer to that bubble bursting here, and he don't want to burst. They don't want that bubble to burst while they're in the situation they're in now, because they're in the situation, Iraq's in the situation they're in now with a strong dollar. Can you imagine a weak dollar, or what Iraq would have? Matter of fact, I don't even think we'd be on this call if we had a weak dollar. Okay, so it would be a nightmare situation in Iraq if we had a weak dollar. Okay, but we have a strong dollar right now, and Iraq's in a terrible situation. Can you only imagine a weak dollar? And that's what I always tell people too. It's like, you're working 3 jobs and you're barely making it with a strong dollar. Imagine a weak dollar. Imagine the dollar getting weak and you're barely making it with 3 jobs with a strong dollar. You can only imagine what's going to happen to those people when the dollar starts to devalue itself. Okay, do you think the Chinese yuan, the people in China thought that Chinese yuan was going to devalue 4 or 5 times in 2 weeks? Okay, and they lose purchasing power as they struggle in those factories? No. So you got to understand that if China can do it, America's going to do it. Europe already did it this year. So we're coming to realization that even your fantasy world that you live in, and because most people don't even live in reality, they live in fantasy world. The fantasy world that you live in, somebody is taking a needle and he's popping it, and you're now seeing reality. Reality is the global markets are terrible. The fiat currency system is terrible. Debt is running rapid. The central banks are losing control, and things need to change. Point blank and simple. Okay, and you're seeing the devaluations of currencies that you thought were not devalue. Okay, people are working 3 jobs in Europe, and their currency has gone down. People working 2, 3 jobs in factories in China, and their currency and their purchasing power is going down. Okay, just making it harder to live. Okay, and now you're going to see it in America because we haven't done it yet. So the Americans' purchasing power is going to start going down, and you're working 3 jobs, and you can barely make it. You're going to be in big trouble, because when the purchasing power starts to go down, you now have to have more money to buy the same amount of things. Okay, so just get ready for that. Just know that that's coming, and hopefully you have the right investments and the right things to counter that, okay, and to actually be successful off of that, because there's ways to be successful off of devaluation of currency, just like there's ways to be successful off of the market collapsing. Okay, it's called shorting. Okay, you're betting on the stocks and the market to go down, and you're just doing the reverse. Okay, as you buy and sell. All right, so let's talk about the BRICS here. The BRICS actively pushing for IMF reforms blocked by the U.S. Man, we've been talking about this forever, man. Excuse me. The U.S., man, is blocking these 2010 reset, basically the reset reforms. Okay. And could be the reason why a lot of people, never got their legitimate prosperity packages and all these other things that people were promised that they were going to get from actually legit companies and programs. Okay, and that's probably because the U.S. has blocked these reforms and these reset, and they used to call them reset reforms. So I don't know what they're called now. It's just 2010 reforms, and it's supposed to give the emerging markets more power, and that's basically the reset of the global market. You're giving the emerging markets more power, more voting power, and to be able to to do things and launch things that they normally couldn't be able to do. Okay. So let's say reforming the international monetary and financial system to make it more equitable, remaining high on our list of priorities within the BRICS. Okay, and this guy is called Lavrov. Okay, these names, man, these Russian names are hard to pronounce, I tell you. Okay, Moscow will push the BRICS to uphold its primary function for which the alliance was forged to safeguard economic interests of the five nations, Russian foreign minister said. Okay, let's see. And then it says it was formed to uphold the interests of these new countries in the framework of international financial relations, including the IMF and the World Bank. It's not some whim, but a reflection of objective reality. Okay, and this is when he's talking to the Russian University in Moscow. Okay, he says the new development bank and the monetary fund launched by the BRICS will be backed by $100 billion. Matter of fact, and it says $100 billion each, okay, which will allow BRICS to act more independently and effectively in implementing the projects that are deemed mutually beneficial for association members, okay? So remember, Iran's getting $100 billion by themselves. They're getting that back. So, you know, so the BRICS are getting BRICS are backed their bank here by $100 billion. Okay, so let's see. This is the BRICS bloc is actively pushing the IMF reforms. While these decisions are now being blocked exclusively by the United States. Okay, see, it's one thing to be like, okay, the United States are blocking these reforms since 2010. Obama's already signed off on them. Okay, he wants the emerging markets to go up, and he wants America to go down. I mean, he signed them things quickly. Okay, he's not, as you already know, he's not for America. He's for the emerging markets and the Middle East. And as you see, he's all for the Iran deal and let's just it is what it is. Okay, we can't he can't hide it anymore. Okay, he's for Russia. He's for the BRICS. He's for the Middle East, and he wants the Western world to come down. Point blank and simple. That doesn't have to come from me. It just come from the deals that he has signed. Okay, and what he's told Putin. Okay. And it is what it is. Okay, so it says the IMF chief Christine Lagarde had last year hinted that the plan B if the United States failed to endorse the reforms by 2014. Yeah, and we're still here waiting, Christine Lagarde. Okay, and some people take her too seriously. Okay, some people take Christine Lagarde too seriously. They say there's no global reset because Christine Lagarde was talking about something else and not the reset. Who cares about Christine Lagarde? First of all, she shouldn't be the person that is telling you if the reset is real or not. You should be able to see it with your eyes, right? It should be clear as day that there's that the reset of the global markets are going on right now. That should be clear as day. Okay, and it's like people are like, "Well, Christine Lagarde didn't say that it was there was going to be a reset." Who says we were putting anything or any interest in Christine Lagarde to tell the world that the reset? And why would Christine Lagarde tell the world that that there's a global reset or there is a global currency reset? Wow, how dumb do you think she is? Okay, she gave hints of talking about the world needs a reset and the way it's working, which is true. Okay, as we see that the world is deflating itself right now. Okay, but don't sit here and say Christine Lagarde didn't say there's a reset. Who said we were asking Christine Lagarde for to be the spokesperson of a global reset or global currency reset? We don't need Christine Lagarde for anything. Do the people that believe in the dinar, are they looking at some one person and saying this person says it's going to happen, so we're all on it? No. Okay, there's evidence that Iraq needs that to launch their global market economy and their private sector. Okay, and to save themselves and to give their people purchasing power that they should already have. We don't need anybody to co-sign that. Okay, it is what it is. Okay, not to mention that Iran's coming off of full sanctions late October into November. So now you have a competition, okay, that's going to be pumping more oil. So you need to save your economy. Either way, anyways, that's it. I'm done. Episode 4 is over. Peace. Bye.